guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I figured I would do a casual kind of pregnancy update and basically touch on a few topics that I feel like will be helpful to you guys. So I am currently 7 months pregnant, officially in the 3rd trimester. And a couple years ago, I wouldn't say 3.5 years ago, I had a myomectomy because I had a very large fibroid in my uterus. And at the time, the doctor said that if the surgery went well, I would still be able to carry a child, full-term pregnancy, and that it shouldn't affect my choice to have children in the future. What would change is the longer I waited to conceive, the more scar tissue would probably develop, and possibly the more difficult it would be to become pregnant. So for Adam and I, just for us personally, where our careers were, it just seemed like we weren't ready. And so we were just, we have time, let my body heal. And then I feel like about a year or two ago, I started talking about having kids more seriously. And deep down, there was like a big worry in me that what if this does make it difficult to conceive? So early this year, I went in for my regular routine checkup. I do see her a little more often than the average woman my age. And that's just to make sure that everything is doing well and to make sure that there are no new fibroids growing. So when I saw her earlier this year, she was like, how are you feeling on, having kids? If that is something that you're interested in, you should probably, start trying. If not, I would highly recommend you getting, your eggs frozen. So I asked for the pamphlet, and the more I looked into it, it's obviously not a natural process, but I don't mean it in a moral sense. I meant I didn't realize that I needed to take so many hormones so that they could actually extract a good number of eggs. I thought it was just when you're ovulating, you go in and you extract an egg. Well, that's too painful, too expensive to do to just one ovulation. So I learned that it's a huge process and you have to put a ton of hormones into your body. In my mind, the hormone imbalance that I had is what got me to where I was with the whole fibroid situation a couple of years ago. And so it was definitely something that scared me a little. So anyway, my doctor was like, just read about it, see how you feel, and let's book an appointment in a couple of months so we can kind of revisit all options. I ended up booking another appointment with her about, I think, 1.5 months later, and that's because I was pregnant. So thankfully to say, it happened naturally for us. Now having experienced being up in the 3rd trimester, just experiencing pregnancy, it is tough on the body and it is exhausting and you're uncomfortable, but just the magical, blessing of feeling like you are creating a life is so amazing that my heart goes out for all women that struggle with fertility. And I think the positive is that, I feel like medicine is so advanced and we are living in the best times for if you want to go the IVF route or any of that. So anyway, going into the birth part, which is in 2 months for me, and I actually have a scheduled C-section. So that's something that from even before I had my myomectomy 3 years ago, my doctor did say, once you have the surgery, you can carry a full-term pregnancy, but I would highly advise that you get a scheduled C-section. So there's definitely some added stress, but then there is some kind of peace of mind that if everything the pregnancy goes well, I'll just go in, have my scheduled C-section. And I know that, I don't know because I haven't had either, but I hear that a natural birth is more, of course, painful, more suffering before, but once you deliver, it's like the body just heals so quickly after that. Whereas with the C-section, you go in and you're fine because you're walking yourself in, you're not in labor yet. You can go in with hair and makeup done because it was planned. But then the recovery process, of course, is far more difficult than one of a natural birth. There's definitely pros and cons to both. I feel like I keep hearing all this like negative talk about how like a C-section is the easy way out. I definitely feel no guilt, maybe because it's the only option for me, but definitely does not seem like the easy way out. Like I said, pros and cons to both. This is what my doctor recommending, so this is what I'm doing. So a couple months ago, actually, I've been getting a lot of questions about, you know, pregnancy after having fibroids and after having a myomectomy. And at first I was like, you know what, like I'm no expert until I have this baby, then I can share better. But I was like, I think a midway point or a pregnancy update would be appropriate. So for anyone, you know, that is either, you know, maybe going through their fibroid removal, the myomectomy surgery now, and, you know, looking towards the future, looking towards conceiving. Obviously this is just my situation and kind of my journey. Basically, don't be afraid that maybe you can't conceive, because that was like one of the biggest issues for us, and it happened totally naturally. And at my age, because technically any pregnancy over 35 is considered a geriatric pregnancy, which when Adam and I look at the paperwork, it just kind of makes us laugh. But anyway, so now I kind of wanted to go into like how I'm feeling, how the pregnancy's been, and how much weight I've gained. Possibly show you a baby bump update. Anyway, I went in for my first ultrasound at 7 weeks. We got to hear the heartbeat right away. So that was magical and super special. And Adam, my husband, was just not taking it seriously until we went to this ultrasound appointment, even though I was eating differently and, you know, a lot of changes right away. So after that, then, you know, a week or two after that appointment, so about the 9-week mark, that's when I started to get really nauseous. And it was just nauseous every single day, but it was more so in the evening. So I'd wake up fine, and then around 4 or 5 in the afternoon, it was just nauseous until I went to bed. And everyone said, oh yeah, that's like first trimester, but then I would hear other people say that they were sick the entire pregnancy, and I was like, I just know that's going to be me. I'm going to be sick for the the entirety of this pregnancy, and I'm not going to be able to enjoy it. And most people were right. By the time that I reached my second trimester, the nausea just went away. Just like everyone says, second trimester is kind of like the honeymoon stage. You're not too big yet. You finally feel like energized. You're no longer sick. It's kind of great. This is like the time to like get stuff done. This is when we moved. If you can avoid moving during pregnancy, I would recommend, but you know, it's something that we were thinking about anyway. And now I'm glad that it's done and that we're here. We actually had our baby moon just like right at the end of my second trimester and beginning of third. And I do have to say, like, I did feel that like shift, like it's harder to sleep. You're just more uncomfortable to move. Even the flight was, you know, it was fine because it was 5 hours, but it was, you know, I'm glad to not have to do that, you know, for the rest of this pregnancy. But yeah, just the normal kind of, I actually feel like pretty fortunate. I feel like I've had a pretty somewhat easy, you know, pregnancy. It is getting tighter and more uncomfortable, but obviously that's to be expected in the third trimester. And also we had our baby shower this past weekend, and that was super special and just made everything so much more real. And one thing too is like I can't get over how nice people are to pregnant women. Now going into kind of weight, I think I gained maybe 3 pounds in the first trimester, which is I think about right. And then I think 7 or 8 pounds in the second trimester. And now I'm, I think, up 14 pounds or 15 pounds total from before I got pregnant. And I hear you gain the most in your third trimester because that's when baby's actually exponentially growing. So yeah, I think that's kind of all the updates for now. One of the big things is people always ask about cravings. I also haven't had mini cravings. I would say the first trimester, I just wanted carbs. It wasn't even like sweets or sugar or anything like that. It was just carbs. I also had my glucose test a couple of weeks ago. That came back normal, so thank goodness for that. But my iron levels were a little bit low, so I am taking an iron supplement every other day, and so hopefully that's kind of the only issue, and hopefully we get that tackled with the supplement. But yeah, I feel like that's kind of it for my updates. I hope that this helps any of you, and I do plan on doing, of course, an updated version or a new update once the baby is here to kind of explain all of that, because I know once I had my myomectomy, I was like always Googling like women that ended up having successful pregnancies and, you know, we're still able to have a baby later. So I'll be happy to share that journey once I've gone through that. But yeah, hope this was helpful. Thank you guys so much for coming to my super casual video. Olive has just been snoozing away the whole time. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I love you, and I'll see you in the next one.